Welcome to the Private Practice Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Brooklyn Storm, here to help you unlock the mind, business, and spirit of your private practice success. So whether you're just starting out or you're looking to grow, this is the place for you if you really want to create a thriving private practice. Before we dive in, I want to share something that can really make a difference in your business. Imagine having an expert in your pocket, someone available on demand whenever you need guidance. Well, that's exactly what my new program, Practice Momentum, offers. With over 30 years of experience at your fingertips, you can now get the support you need whenever you need it. Curious? Head over to brooklynstorm.com to learn more. And now let's get into today. You know, it never fails. A buddy has been such a good boy most of the day. It's mid-afternoon as I'm recording this. And of course, as soon as I hit record, he wants to start being silly. Buddy is my 2-year-old Cavy Cross Maltese. And yeah, he just turned 2. And so he's giving me a little bit of sass sometimes. So this is my second shot at recording this. So we'll see how we go. All right. He is feeling energetic at the moment. So if he starts barking, I will hit stop on the record and then I'll try and just trim back over the barking and then pick it up again. So if you hear a bit of a jump in the track, that's all it is. It's me cutting out barking. Okay, so thank you very much for listening to another episode. I am so pleased that you're here and hopefully you'll find this really helpful. Today we're going to be talking about money blocks, and I want to share it in the context of something that I experienced myself because, of course, I want to be real and I want to show you what it's like. And I don't want you thinking that you just get to a point where you're cool with the money and you never ever worry about it again. I don't ever want to have you under that misapprehension, because I really believe that anytime things come up with money, and for us as women in private practice, often that's around doing things like processing a cancellation fee perhaps, or maybe even it's around raising a session fee or introducing a fee for something else. You know, it's like new level, new devil, right? All our stuff comes up. Even for like people who are super experienced and been in it for 30 years. So if you are relatively new and you're still sort of finding your feet and you're still building up your days and all those kinds of things, I want you to understand that if you do have issues around money, that's totally normal. There's nothing wrong. It's totally valid. But do get some guidance around it from somebody who's a little bit further along the path than you, because it will just save you so much time and effort and energy. Okay, so here's what happened. I'm going to tell you about my experience first, then I'll talk with you about other mindset blocks that have been coming up in Practice Momentum a little bit lately, and give you some guidance around that so that if it's happening for you too, you have a better understanding of what's going on and how to handle it. And then I'll also talk with you about what we're doing over in Momentum I don't think anything would ever eliminate a money block or a money story, because you only know what you know, right? And given that 95% of our beliefs are in our subconscious mind, they're only going to bubble up to the surface when we're in values conflict or something like that, right? So you can only deal with what you are aware of at the time. So I'm not going to make any big promises that my model is going to fix all of your money blocks, because I want to be honest with you, that it probably won't. But what it will do is will absolutely minimize the majority of them, which will make it easier for you to get the business into profit, which means then you can have more time with children if you're busy with children, or more time with aging parents, or more time to do Pilates, or whatever it is you like to do. I mean, honestly, I'm pretty good with my time. Lately I have been working really, 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 really hard on getting a portal set up for Momentum and things like that. But that's out of the ordinary. Usually I have afternoons free. I like to do any client-facing work in the morning while my energy is good. But even in saying that, I don't do that much client-facing work anymore, to be honest. I've got a few supervision clients that I still catch up with on the odd Google Meet once a month here or there. And maybe if I have a course or a program, I might be doing a coaching call or a group supervision. But generally, I don't really have that many appointments anymore. It's just the way that I've evolved the business to work for me. But what was I going to say? That was going somewhere. I've forgotten where. Oh, yeah. Welcome to the podcast. I'm Brooklyn and I have ADD. Not just ADHD. I've also got ADID. Of course, double whammy. Anywho, I know I was talking about money blocks and something. I'll come back to it. All right. So here's the thing. I went away to the country. And as you know, when I go away, and I go away also, if you've been listening to this or you've been in my world for a hot minute, you'll know, like I'm, air quotes, always going away. I really believe in looking after myself, and I really believe in, like, I don't like to say self-care. I really like to schedule time in the calendar as soon as possible when I get back for the next getaway. And they become little milestones for me throughout the year of this is your breathing space. This is when you get to take the break, because sometimes what can happen is I can get caught up in the masculine energy of all of the doing and become a little bit disconnected from, I guess, alignment, purpose, my soul, do you know what I mean? Like all of that sort of good thing. I really do believe that I have a very strong connection with what I call my higher self. You might call it with something else. Maybe you call it, your higher consciousness, or maybe you call it energy or source or something like that. But I really feel like I've got a strong connection with that, and I don't lean into it enough, because when I'm at work during the week, I'm kind of focusing on the 3D stuff of like doing. So yeah, going away is very important to me because it's dedicated time for me to be back in the feminine energy. The feminine energy is about moving and shifting your energy and your mindset into a place of receiving. It's it's about change. It's about movement. Always when I go away, for example, like I'm constantly driving, and you've heard my podcast episodes where I'm like, we're on a road trip. Like you're in the car. We're off on a drive. We're on our way from Ballarat to Bendigo. Things like that. And constantly moving, doing new things. It's like this constant things. Yeah, just things are moving. Whereas when it's work time for me, during the rest of the year, everything is about forward moving action. It's about goals, it's about structure, it's about space, all that kind of stuff. So anyway, again, to receiving mode when I go away. And that receiving mode for me looks like shifts to my mindset, which need to happen in order for me to allow more stuff in. It looks like more trust and surrender. It looks like letting go. It looks like flow. It looks like loosening my grip on things. It looks like handing things over to something bigger than myself. It means rituals. It means journaling. It means, as I said, that connection with my higher self. So I really, 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 really value these times. And yeah, I got back on Sunday and I've already booked to go away for August. So I feel really good about that. And now I've just got kind of this sprint, if you like, of work in the middle. So that's how I structure my year. And I'm mentioning that because somebody, one of my supervision clients, said to me today that she really liked that I role model that. And she said that it gave her permission to take regular breaks as well. So yeah, that meant a lot to me. So I thought I would share it with you too. So anyway, I'm away, and straight away I'm driving along. I'm driving towards Hepburn, Daylesford, and within maybe about half an hour, I start to feel good. Like, oh, my energy is coming back instead of leaking out, right? My energy is starting to come back. I'm feeling brighter. I'm feeling good. And I start to get into, I don't know, I can't even really describe it, but I start to get into like the feeling or the mood of, oh, I just know. It's like anticipation, right? A really good anticipation about something positive that's going to be happening. So anyway, that's happening. I'm feeling really, really good. And I get into Daylesford, and one of the first Oh, yeah. One of the first things that I do when I go away is have an appointment with my therapist for like the first hour that I get to Daylesford. So I'm working with her just for some support and some guidance and some objective feedback about, um, yeah, the ADD. As I said, I've got like all the types of ADD. So it's really helpful for me to be able to talk with her and get some guidance. So that's part of looking after me. And so, yeah, always when I go away, from 1 o'clock till 2 o'clock, it's with Amanda online having my session. I get it attended to as a priority. And then it's kind of like everything else that unfolds over that time away is also a priority, but it's just different, you know. From there, I went over to Empress and Wolf, and I got a few things. I got a couple of books, and I also got a deck of cards, which is called the Wealthy Woman Oracle deck. Now, I don't need more Oracle cards. Like, I collect them, but as a collector, like, I take it really seriously, and I don't just buy like any old deck. But this one kind of called to me. So I looked at it initially and I thought to myself, no, not interested. But then something was like, no, go and have a proper look. And the deck was open, which don't you love it when a deck of cards is open in a shop and you can actually read some of them and the guidebook. I love that. So I pulled a couple of cards, had read the book, and I was like, do you know what? Actually, I think I'm meant to get this card deck. So I hadn't gone away anticipating that I was going to be working on money blocks, right? This was just me listening to my intuition. My intuition was like, get the cards. Even though my cognitive mind was like, you don't need them. My intuition was like, get them. So I got them. And anyway, then, we just kind of like spent some time exploring, shopping, doing all the things. I went to the accommodation. It was amazing. I always get amazing accommodation. I'm blessed by the angels when it comes to that. I have to tell you, I don't think I've ever had bad accommodation. It's always been really, really lovely. And anyway, so I thought, yeah, I'm going to grab the journal, grab the pen, grab the cards, and I'm going to start writing. And I hadn't journaled consistently, and I can't actually remember the last time I journaled before I went away. But anyway, get out the cards, shuffle the cards, pull a card, start working with it, start journaling, and already I'm having insights and downloads and breakthroughs and stuff like that. And what's happening at the moment is I am, manifesting a home. I want to be able to, actually, let's rephrase that. I'm calling in a home that's fully paid for, no mortgage, fully furnished, perfect for Buddy and I. Floorboards, light, bright, airy, seamless indoor-outdoor living, very low maintenance. Somebody coming over to do cooking for me once a week, and somebody coming over to clean once a week. Beautiful space, electric fireplace, great big mantle around the electric fireplace, great big gold mirrors right above it, high ceilings, rosettes, you know, the kind of thing. That's what I'm sort of envisaging. And ideally, I want it either to be semi-rural-ish. I do love the country, but I like open spaces. So I don't want to be like right on top of a neighbour. I want space. Or if it's not going to be there, it's going to be near crashing waves, right? Somewhere coastal, back beachy type stuff. So this is what I'm calling in. So I was like writing about that, and I'm just doing scripting about it, like about how cool it is that I've got it and how it was actually better than I thought, and you know, all of this. And then the next day, so that was all good, and I got really excited about it. Oh, and that night I went to sleep with a manifesting audio. The next day started doing some more work, and ended up pulling a card that was around, it was called Wealth Story, and it was getting me to connect with old stories I had around money. And I was kind of like rolling my eyes internally thinking, oh, I've done this so many times. Like, I think I'm pretty good with my money stories. But again, just intuitively, I knew that I needed to, what was I going to say? I needed to actually process it. So yeah, I get out the pen, I start journaling, and guess what happens? Breakthrough. So one of the things that I remembered is a couple of events. It's like, you know how you remember one thing from the past and then it's like a domino effect. You start to remember other things. That's what happened. So I remembered a time when I, yeah, I guess I don't want to say was made to feel, but that is actually what happened. But it doesn't feel good to say that. But I had a little bit of money. I was 12 years old. I was doing some babysitting. I had a little bit of money and I spent the money at the milk bar, buying random stuff. And yeah, anyway, got in big trouble for spending my $5 or $10, whatever I got for my babysitting. And yes, I learned about guilt and shame. And then something similar happened again when I was 18 or 19. Yeah, I again was, yeah, it feels so wrong saying made to feel, but that was what actually happened. So I spent some money on myself, and yeah, it turned out that wasn't what you do. And yeah, I felt really, really bad about it, felt really, really horrible about it. Really big guilt, really big shame. And it must have planted a seed, and I totally forgot about this seed. I totally forgot about all of this until I was doing the journaling. And it made so much sense because with that memory, or with those two memories, then I started to be able to identify other memories and similar events that might have been contributing to this belief that, you know, if I personally have money that I make and I spend that money on myself, that then I'm a really bad person. I should be ashamed of myself, that when I spend money on me, it robs people, it's theft, it's stealing, it's taking things away from people that you love, and so you shouldn't do that. And yeah, you should feel really ashamed of yourself and really guilty. So it was huge, as you can possibly appreciate. And I had no idea it was sitting there after all these years, but yep, there it was sitting there. And so yeah, it was a really big release. And I started to think about my house, and I thought to myself, hey, you know, you are doing such a good job manifesting this house. Look at you go. Like, you're journaling about it. You're going on realestate.com. Like, you're showing up for the universe and letting the universe know that you're here for it. But I realized in that moment that actually the universe couldn't bring it to me because I had issues around guilt and shame that were getting in the way of me actually throwing down a deposit or taking further steps on getting the house, because there was this subconscious belief that if I did that, it would be taken away from somebody else, which would make me feel guilt and shame. So in order to avoid the guilt and shame, maybe just dream about the house and don't actually do anything with it. So yeah, huge breakthrough. And I thought that was really important. The other thing that happened was that day or the next day, I went to Phoenix Alternative in Ballarat, and I just like to pop in there, have a look around, see what's happening. And yeah, while I was there, I just got the feeling to book in for a Reiki session. And Nicole was there. She's the lady that I normally get it with, and she said, yeah, happy to see you, the girls will book it in. I was like, cool. And then later on, as I was getting ready to leave, I purchased some stuff, went to pay for it, went to get myself booked in, and yeah, the lady serving me said, oh, Nicole's not actually here again until you go back home, but you can work with Liv. And I said, yep, sure. And she said, oh, are you sure? And I said, yeah, happy to see Liv, no problem. I didn't even know why I was booking it. It was just like, I don't know. It was just like something in me was like, go and book the session. So anyway, I booked it, and it was for the next day. And I was driving to the appointment the next day, and I was just feeling so good because I'd been journaling, I'd cleared this big money block. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was just in a really, really good place, and I was thinking, why on earth did I book this? And I go there, And I tell her, like, she's like, what brought you here? And I said, look, I honestly don't know. I hope I haven't wasted your time. It was just a feeling that I had. And I just felt like I needed to book it. So I did. I honestly don't know what I'm needing help with, because everything's gone pretty well at the moment. And then, I just started talking with her, and then all my stuff started coming out about, what had got me into the position of wanting a house and how I was feeling about all of that, blah, 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 blah. And then she says this, and this is like what changed my life. And she just said, this person, they're on their own path, and all the people pleasing that you've been doing will never ever change that. Like, it's futile. Like, just stop. There's nothing you can do that can change this person's life path. They have free will. They can change their path if they want to. That's not up to you. You're tangled up in their life path, and you can untangle yourself. But really, that's their journey. And when they chose to be here, that's the contract that they made, and this is the experience that they want to have. And so, you know what? Maybe just let them be. And I was like, what? It was like this huge mic drop moment for me. And I just felt so much pressure lift off my shoulders in that moment. And so what's that got to do with running a private practice? Well, I'll tell you. The lesson for me was that sometimes you can't see your own stuff. And it is so helpful when you're feeling like you're doing the things, but it's taking time for you to see a result. It's possible that maybe this comes down to a story or a belief that you're holding on to that is in your maybe subconscious awareness, and your ego is trying to keep you really, really safe, and it's holding you back from having the thing that you really, 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 really want. And the value of having somebody on the outside give you a perspective is so powerful, because it unlocks things, as you've just heard, that just weren't possible before, right? So one of the other things that happened for me was with this new awareness, I sort of realized that since COVID, like, I hadn't had like a proper haircut, a proper hair treatment. I hadn't had my hair colored, nothing like that. And so the very next day I went and booked myself in and got it all done. And while I was sitting there waiting for my foils to go off, I wasn't even feeling guilty, which was a reflection that I had in the moment. I was like suddenly aware that I wasn't feeling guilty. I was aware that I was starting to become my old self again. And I started to feel really, 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 really good. And then the idea popped into my head that when I feel really, really good, I do better in life. Like, I do better personally, with my friendships, in business, with my clients. Like, do you know what I mean? And it all started to make sense. It was like this great big wink from the universe that, yeah, you're on the right path. And I think it came, this experience of mine, at a really, really, really good time, because while I was away, there were a handful of women in Momentum that were also going through their own money issues and money stories and stuff like that. And there's 4 women that come to mind, and I think 3 of them were all, experiencing, I guess, I don't know the right way to say it. They were experiencing things coming up for them around, it was cancellation fees. It was like thoughts like it's uncomfortable to charge for a service that wasn't provided. I don't know, this feels icky. It's not fair. What if I charge it and my client doesn't come back? And in fact, one of the beautiful souls in the program, she worked through her money stuff. And then while I was away, she had an occasion to lean into the policy, and she actually used it and it was fine. And she was like so happy about it and she was celebrating. And I was so excited for her to be able to implement like an essential business process. And yeah, it was a really, really good moment. And then what happened was the following morning, she got a notification perhaps saying that this client had then gone and cancelled all her future sessions. So this was like big stress, big drama, nightmare, scary stuff, all like a worst nightmare, all coming true. And yeah, she responded and after the fact, like, yeah, told me what had happened and, you know, she was really upset and all of this. And she was asking me, like, she told me what she did and she said, what would you have done? And so, you know, I coached her through it. And anyway, she's out the other side of it now and everything's fine. What, you know, one of the things that I said to her was like, it's really normal, like, for you to be assuming that the sessions were cancelled because you charged the cancellation fee. But the reality is we don't know why. People cancel for different reasons all the time. Anyway, later on in the day, the beautiful client got back to her and said, no, it was just because her roster changed and she needed different times. So that was all it was. But I could appreciate like how her anxiety went through the roof in that moment. But it was a good opportunity for her to have growth from that. And so then there were a couple of days of like processing and stuff like that afterwards. I think the thing that can happen with money is for women in private practice especially, we end up without even realizing it projecting our own money stories onto the business and onto our clients. And when we do that, it's not fair on either. Yep, it's not fair on the business, okay, because the business is neutral. It doesn't, you know, have obviously thoughts and feelings about money, but it's not fair on your clients because it's actually quite disempowering to do that. So it's really important that, yeah, when we see that things aren't working in the practice and we become aware that it's money based, that we get support around that, you know. And of course, when it comes to things like, for example, you know, the cancellations, when it comes to things like that, yes, you can get templates of cancellation policies and things like that. But at the same time, if you're not aligned with it, you'll never use it, or you will use it willy-nilly and inconsistently and create all kinds of other dramas for yourself. You either have it and use it, or you don't have it and don't, right? That's easier than sort of applying it here, there, and everywhere. And so anyway, yeah, I went and popped some additional resources into the portal for them yesterday, I think it was, that guided them through cancellation policies and mindset and all this kind of stuff. So hopefully it will help. But anyway, for me having, I guess, had those money blocks and money stories come into my awareness, it allowed me to clear them and clear them pretty quickly, right? Because they can live in your subconscious mind for decades, but they only, with me anyway, they don't take that long to clear. Like usually awareness is everything for me. Once I'm aware, like they clear pretty quickly. I'm like, that's ridiculous. What was I thinking? Maybe that was my experience then, but it doesn't have to be my experience now, and it doesn't have to be the predictor of my future experiences. Like, do you know what I mean? And so for me, since clearing those money stories and money blocks, I've started to already see new results, okay? So I'm feeling way more at ease with money, way more at ease, way more confident, and money is flowing again, which is really, really important because I had a scarcity mindset that used to really, really panic when money was going out of my savings account. So, you know, money would go out of the account, like maybe I had to pay for medical bills or something like that. The money would go out, or the rates would come in for the house, and I have to, you know, it's like 3,300 here or something for rates. And I was like a chunk of money coming out, and I used to feel really angry and resentful, and I used to feel threatened. not by the council. I used to feel threatened in that, this money is being taken away from you and it's never coming back. And that came through when I was journaling. And I realized when I was looking back over it, I thought, where on earth did that come from? Like, you pay a bill and the money never comes back. That's not actually true. And I looked at my savings just to show my mind that that's not true. And I told myself, sit here and have a look at the transactions. There's money coming in, there's money going out. It's in, it's out. And then I got the picture in my mind of the beach and how the water flows, it's ebb and flow, and there's low tide and high tide. And when it's low tide, the beach isn't going, oh, holy smoke, that's water I'm never going to see again. No, the beach is just like, okay, it's low tide now, that's fine. I know and I trust that it's going to come back, and it does. It's in and it's out. And so that has helped a lot. And that was put to the test for me in 2 ways this week. So it's Wednesday as I'm recording this. But the first way was yesterday at the eye appointment for my mum. It was like $1,000. And normally, like, I have quite a visceral, like, my nervous system goes chaotic, all of this. But yesterday I was just like, yeah, that's fine. Like, totally fine. And the other thing was, I had a really big unexpected bill to pay for the house, and I was like, it wasn't like I was cool with it. I wouldn't say like I was joyful about paying it. There wasn't that. But what there definitely was an absence of the angst, and I didn't need to go and regulate my nervous system and stuff like that. And then as a result, flow is happening, money's back in, and it's like I never paid bills, right? The money's back to where it was. So it came back in within 48 hours, which is really, really good. And I'm just trusting in the ebb and the flow now. And 2, I'm trusting that I know how to make money, and I'm getting better at a healthy relationship with it, right? With the coming and the going. So that was really, really helpful. And some other things that can come up when you're running a business is, as I said, it's like we project our own money stories onto it. And that can be things like, I don't know, maybe you've been told that it's greedy to have money or something like that. And so now you don't feel comfortable charging what you need to be charging. And so you undercharge. Or maybe you have stories there around, greed being bad. And like, there's so many different money stories that you might have, right? You don't want to take advantage of someone. It's this, it's that. It makes you feel unwell if you're going to process a cancellation fee. This is you projecting your money stories onto the client and onto the business, and it doesn't help anyone. So a lot of the work of becoming a private practice owner is really around identity and understanding who you are, what that looks like, and also understanding business mindset, employee mindset, therapist mindset. And, they say that, if you're going to run a business, you need to get ready for a lot of personal development. When you're an employee, you probably never have to worry about your money stories, but when you're running a business and you're charging for it and things like that, you can feel very connected to it, okay? But you are not your business. Your business is not you. They are 2 separate things. And so even when it comes to choosing your fees, for example, you might do things like, look around and see what other people are charging for a similar service and base your fee on that. And that is a big fat mistake, because you don't know what's going on in the minds of those other women with their money stories. How do you know they're not undercharging? Or how do you know what their circumstances are? Maybe they're in a position where they can give away services, and it's part of how they give back to a community. Like, you would never know. So what I would love to invite you to think about is separating yourself from the business and using experiences that happen that can be triggering for, anxiety or nervousness or discomfort or, values incongruence and things like that as opportunities to say, okay, what's coming up for me here? Where did this come from? What does it mean? Is there a space for it in my business? If so, what do I want it to look like? If not, am I ready to release it and let it go? So yeah, that's really, 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 really important. And when you're trying to create profitability, or maybe you're trying to grow or scale, call in new employees, new contractors, new programs, new offers, new courses, retreats, your VIP days, whatever it is that you're doing, workshops, it's really, really important that we do it from the right place. And that is not a place of you projecting your own stuff onto clients or the business. And that's why, it's also not about you doing more things either. Like, there are so many women that are doing so much stuff, and they're expecting that they're going to get a result because somewhere along the line they've made a connection between how hard they work and the money or the clients or the results or the reward. It's that's not how it works when you're running a business. Your profitability, your cash flow, your turnover, your revenue, all those things has nothing to do with how hard you work. Okay, it just doesn't. Lots of big stuff. And, I am so excited for the next group of women that come into Momentum, because they are going to come in and straight away have an immersion into the practice sustainability model that I created. And why this is so good is it actually can remove the money blocks, the limitations, the role that you might have been giving your money stories in the business without realizing it, or maybe with realizing it and not knowing what to do. But this model actually builds sustainability for clients. It builds sustainability for the business in terms of the finances, and it builds sustainability for you as a woman in business that restores things like your work-life balance, right? Nobody wants to be working 40 plus hours a week. You get to work the number of hours that is aligned for you and right for you, and have time as well to do all of those things. And so I am so excited to teach it to them, because especially the women in the program now who have started to apply bits here and there from the sustainability model have already had these massive breakthroughs. Like, one of them, she's just a beautiful soul, but she was sharing that as a result of coming into the program and starting to use the tools and strategies, she's increased her annual turnover by 29%, and she's hoping to bump it to 30 by the end of the financial year. I mean, how cool is that? Other people, they're now talking to me about, can you put something in the portal, Brooklyn, on wait lists? Because I'm just so booked now. These are people that didn't have clients when they came in, right? And they were almost fully booked within their first 90 days. Well, actually, as you know, if you have listened to other episodes, one of the clients I'm thinking of, it was less than 30 days for her. Do you know what I mean? So it is so exciting seeing their growth. And then I was speaking to a social worker yesterday, and she was talking to me about sustainability, and we put together a plan for her, and she's so excited about it now. And she's it's going to get implemented really soon. I would say maybe even in the next few weeks, because she knows exactly what to do now. She's got the clarity, she's got the steps, she knows. It's just so exciting, and I cannot wait to see what it's like for her clients and how much they love it and all the feedback that she's going to get. And it's so much fun. But I didn't have this all together as a model of sustainability in private practice when the original people, the OGs, when they came into the program earlier in the year, it wasn't, I guess, like packaged up and everything. It was just my approach to, as a private practice specialist, to business mentoring, business advising, business consulting, business coaching for them. And I was giving them each individually a strategy here, a strategy there. And in my mind, I knew it was going to be building out the sustainability. But as we've been moving on, and we're approaching like the 6-month mark, I thought, yeah, actually, let's put it all together. So it's all together. So all the new people coming in, they get access to that straight away, which means they can start making money sooner. And once they do that, they're going to be less stressed and they can get back on with the job of both helping people, but also working on the business and getting it to the place where it needs to be, so that money stuff kind of gets eliminated pretty quickly in Momentum. And I love it so much. And yeah, I've got stories galore. I have to go and update the waitlist page with all the all the wins and all the stories and stuff like that, because there has just been so many. And it's just like my highest joy to be able to help them. But yeah, I wanted to share this with you today about the money blocks, because I wanted you to see that even people like me have money blocks that we might not even be aware of sometimes, and that it's okay for you to have a money block, and it's okay for you to have a money story, and it's okay for you to be aware of it and see that it's being played out in the business, on the business, to the client, on a client, all of that. Because now you know that there's a way around it, and there's a way to process that and totally clear it, so that we can, once it's cleared, get the business back on track. Okay, you are not your business. A business is a total separate entity. You are your own total separate entity. I know. It is just beautiful work. So yeah, money blocks are going to happen. And it doesn't mean that you're doing the wrong thing. It doesn't mean you shouldn't charge. It doesn't mean you're a bad person. No, you're in business. You're not a charity. And even if you were a charity, like, you're still going to have to make money. Otherwise, how are you going to give stuff away? You can't give what you don't have, right? So even people who have nonprofits have to deal with their money stuff. So we all have to do it. And it'll pop up for some of us at different times. Like, you might be totally fine right now, but if I said to you, hey, what about you increase your fees by, $50? Maybe you just got chills. Or maybe you're like, actually, that feels really good to think about that, right? If I said it to you and you got chills, maybe the first thoughts in your head were, I'd lose all my clients, no one would pay it, my business would fold. Do you know what I mean? Like, they just start coming, don't they? All these really unhelpful thoughts just start coming. Then guess what? You stay where you are. And that's how people get stuck. It's how people feel overwhelmed. It's how people end up doing like, chasing the bright, shiny objects. It's because you actually know what you need to do. You're avoiding doing it because it feels so uncomfortable, because a belief is now in conflict with the value that you have. So running a business as a therapist is more than us helping people to heal themselves. It's also us understanding what a business is and what the role of the business is and how to work with it and all those kinds of things. So that we can make informed, data-driven decisions. And that's something else that we do in Momentum. All of the women in the program learn about what numbers they need to be tracking, why they need to be tracking them, if they don't want to track them all, what the essential ones are that they absolutely must be tracking in order to get to profitability a lot more quickly and things like that. And I think once somebody shows you what to do, it starts to feel a little bit easier. And then when you've got a bit of accountability as well, it starts to feel easier. And I think one of the other reasons that so many of them have achieved really big results really quickly in the program is just because of the way that I designed it. It's they get a lot of support on their schedule. So some of them are still doing full-time studies, some of them are working full-time and trying to get the practice going on the side, and they didn't have time for, one-to-one 1 hour coaching sessions once a month, or doing more courses and things like that. They needed something that was going to zig to their zag, and so that's what this program does, and it's just working. And I really believe it's because of how I've set the program up that they're able to get those results so quickly. And I'm celebrating somebody else in the program because it's only her first 90 days, and next week I think it is, she opens up her practice for another day, and she's already got 4 clients booked. I mean, it's just going, I don't know what the saying is, great guns. It's going so well, and I could not be happier for them. And I just want to share this with you so that you can hear about what other women are doing, where they were, what they're doing now, and how they got there. And I really think that how you get there is by, again, just being in the feminine and allowing yourself to receive the support, seeing yourself as requiring it, needing it, deserving of it. It's not a luxury. It's not something extra. It's not, anything like that. This is a requirement for your business. And it's just so lovely. Anyway, the next intake is, we start again on the 15th of July. And if you would like to apply for the program, you can. I'll put the link in the show notes, and you can submit an application and pop yourself on a wait list, and we'll go from there. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. And that's a wrap for this episode of the Private Practice Podcast. So as you reflect on today's insights, imagine creating real success in your private practice without going down rabbit holes or exhausting yourself with business activities that don't move the needle. With Practice Momentum, you have push of a button help available on demand. It's like having an expert in your pocket ready to guide you whenever you need it. Visit brooklynstorm.com to discover how Practice Momentum can transform your approach to building a thriving practice. I'm Dr. Brooklyn Storm, and I'll see you next time as we continue exploring the mind, business, and spirit of private practice success.